If you take that down too low, like if you take it down to an E flat, D, C sharp, or something like that, it just sounds really hollow, like an What's up, guys? This is Matt from RamseyVoice.com, and I am a real vocal coach and singing teacher. Today, I'm going to be listening and reacting to Bon Iver perform a cover of Bonnie Raitt's song, I Can't Make You Love Me. And truth be told, I've heard this song many times by Bonnie Raitt, but I haven't actually heard Bon Iver sing it. Now, I have to admit, I am a huge Bon Iver fan, and ever since For Emma forever ago, I've been a huge fan of his. When I was a folkie living in San Francisco, playing in the train stations with my acoustic guitar every day, I would play a lot of his songs, and I absolutely adore the man. So I can't wait to see what we come up with today. Now, if you find this video helpful, make sure to like, comment with the next song that you want to see me react to, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. That way you find out when a new video drops. Or if you're ready to get started and improve your singing voice today, check out my complete singing course, Master Your Voice. Okay, let's get started. Wow, first, I mean, I didn't know that Bon Iver played piano so well. That's the first surprise of this. My guess is that he's probably not a classically trained pianist, because he wasn't really using his pinky very much. He was using mostly his first four fingers, which are better in terms of strength and have a little bit more dexterity than this guy. But sometimes if you have to reach, then you'll use your pinky. But I'm really surprised. I'm sure he plays piano better than I do. So let's see what happens next. Whoa! We've got some gospel. He's throwing in some flats. Oh yeah.
Turn down the lights, turn down the bed, turn down these voices inside my head.
Now, first thing I have to say, I mean, this is so trademark Bon Iver. He's using just a falsetto, a breathy head voice, whatever it is you wanted to call it, but it's not connected. The turn down the lights, turn down the bed. There's nothing really going on there. There's no real voice. In other words, like just the very outer edges of the vocal cords are touching to create those sounds. Run, turn down the lights, turn down the bed, and using like a fuller kind of contact between the vocal cords. He's just using the turn down the lights, and he's chosen a beautiful area of his voice to do that in, because if you take that down too low, like if you take it down to an E flat, D, C sharp, or something like that, it just sounds really hollow, like an like I have to start switching. So he's intentionally keeping his voice up above that break so that he can keep that very consistency of timbre. Let's see what he does next.
Lay down with me, tell me no lies.
Listen to how breathy that last one is. Lies. Now, if that's what, a D? Oh yeah, just an A. So rather than lies, he's lies. Just kind of approximating that low note. Crazy.
Just hold me close, don't patronize me, don't patronize me, 'cause I can't make you love me.
to a C, C5, tenor C5. I can't make. So that's quite different from the I can't make you love me. He's actually kind of doing a harmony, yeah, of the original melody. So the original melody would be down from the an E, from an E to a G to an A. So he's actually doing kind of like a harmony from this A here. So it's like I can't make. So that would be a harmony of the original melody, which I think is super cool. He's like, I'm Bon Iver, I have to like do something different here, and he does.
You can make your heart feel something it won't. Here in the dark.
Now that the here in the dark, that's pretty interesting, because if you were trying to do that in a full mixed voice, that would be quite hard because of that H constant. Here in the dark. I mean, I can do it because I've been doing this for a long time, but I know that a lot of beginning singers would have a hard time doing that because they would go for that, and it would make them flip. Bon Iver's not making that choice because he's staying in that falsetto the entire time. So he's staying with that easier, here in the dark. Again, just falsetto up there. So he's not having to do a lot of the hard stuff, but no complaints at all. I mean, you know, if it sounds great up there, do it.
These final hours, I will lay down my heart. I feel the power, but you don't. No, you don't. 'Cause I can't make you love me if you don't.
Yeah. He's adding a little bit of a riff in there too to make it sound slightly different from the original. I think that this is super creative on his part.
If you don't, no, you won't.
Those thirds that he did, he's always doing those. There's a song on his recent record, or his self-titled, that like just starts off that climb is all we know. He just loves playing those thirds. It sounds so beautiful on his piano too.
I'll close my eyes, then I won't see the love you don't feel when you're holding me.
Now that was the first time I've heard him sing in chest voice. Well, you're holding me. That's the first time I've heard him sing anything in chest voice. It's just a little glimpse because he tends to spend so much time in his head voice. And I think that that's also intentional because if you're used to singing in just a falsetto or a breathy head voice, whatever you want to call it, most of the time, then you don't necessarily want to switch back and forth all the time between those different tonal colors, between that I can't make and oh, like that chest voice kind of sound, because it's kind of like telling the audience all the tricks that you have up your sleeve. It almost sounds better to stick with one voice rather than switching back and forth, because then it will just sound like you're breaking on purpose. And he doesn't want us to know that he's just singing a falsetto up there, because he wants that really ghostly, kind of choiry, Bon Iver trademark sound. But if you were singing in a mixed voice, it would sound all like one voice. I can't make you love me if you don't. So I'm singing just through my mixed voice, through the middle of my break. And, you know, for most people, they're not going to be able to hear a difference that I'm like, oh, I'm in a different place in my voice here, and I'm ending in a different place in my voice. However, with him, we hear a difference.
Morning will come, and I'll do what's right. Just give me till then to give
I love the ends of his lines too. Give it to them. Like he just gives you like the tiny. You can almost see it like in his jaws. He goes, "We're going to that." He just jumps for it. It sounds so cool though. All the reverb.
And I will give up this fight, 'cause I can't make you love me if you don't. I can't make your heart feel something.
Nice little riff there.
It won't heal in the dark. These final hours, I will lay down my heart. I feel the power.
Now, just to point something out here, just to be super picky, he's really not working very hard for that falsetto. It's mostly just, like I said, like the exterior of his vocal cords are touching. He's adding a lot of breath to get that but he's not working super hard here. But you also see from his body language that he's really into it, like he's working very hard. And I think that this is really key in his performance because it makes it seem so emotional. So even though he's not working super hard to sing these notes, he's pretending like he is, and that makes for such good drama.
But you don't. No, you don't. I can't make you love me if you don't. If you don't. No, you won't.
Also, that's interesting because you wouldn't normally see one person, like a classically trained pianist, like just follow the melody of their notes with their index finger like he was just doing. Or it was his middle finger, I couldn't tell. But he wasn't switching to different fingers, even though he was switching to different notes within the span of his hand. He was just chasing it with that one. It could have been just for the effect of it. Like I said, he's certainly a better piano player than I am. But I just thought that it was an interesting tell that he's probably not classically trained, or that he's just riffing and this is for the performance.
I found love, darling.
So this is actually a hard part. Yeah, so he's singing a C4 in his falsetto with that. I found love, darling. I found love, darling. That's a really hard note for me to do it because I'm such a high voice type and my break is a little bit later or a little bit higher in my voice. So that one is just so tempting to sing in chest voice. It's really interesting that he's able to sing that in his falsetto, but he's a much deeper voice type than I am. So it's quite easy for him. In other words, like since he's a deeper voice type, like his vocal break will probably be a bit lower than mine since I'm a higher voice type. But I think that that's really interesting and it just lends more to this consistent vocal tone that he's getting.
I found love, darling, baby, down. I found love, darling, yeah. Found love, darling, darling.
Oh, there's his chest voice. I found love, darling. And it's cool that he's using that for a little bit of kind of, variety. It would be boring if he just stuck in one all the time.
Love in the nick of time.
Yeah.
I found love, darling, yeah.
Back into his falsetto.
Yeah. Love in the nick of time.
Wow, man, this was a fantastic performance for so many reasons. I mean, he's a fantastic singer. He's got such a beautiful expression of that falsetto vocal effect. He even threw a few chest voice notes in there. But more than anything, it was just such an emotionally performed song. It was kind of like a medley of two different Bonnie Raitt songs. But also, it's so cool to point out that I don't know whether he's classically trained as a pianist or not. But if he's not, and it doesn't seem to me that he is, I think it's a really interesting thing to look at that Bon Iver is primarily a guitarist, and he's a fantastic guitarist. But also, since he's playing piano, it just kind of lends to this idea that really talented musicians, it doesn't matter what instrument you play. If you're a good musician, most good musicians can play many different instruments. Doesn't necessarily mean that like, oh, I can play guitar really well, so I'll be able to sit right at a piano and do it. But good musicians experiment with different instruments. So even if it's not like their primary instrument, they start experimenting with different ones to create different, changes of pressure as an artist. It's like, if you just go and see someone play guitar for 2 hours and they never set their guitar down and sing a song with just the microphone while the band backs them up, or they never set the guitar down and go and sit at the piano for a song, it gets really monotonous and really boring. And you can kind of extrapolate that to an artist as well, in that if I saw all Bon Iver songs were just him and an acoustic guitar, it would probably be boring after a while. But in this particular song, he makes a really bold choice to play it on piano, and I think it was a beautiful choice. Great song, and I love how he kept it in his falsetto range the entire time. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit like, comment with the next song that you want to see me react to, subscribe to this channel, and turn on notifications. Or if you're ready to get started and improve your singing voice today, check out my complete singing course, Master Your Voice.